Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Kayleigh Grows, and today we're going to be doing another spooky repot. It is the week of Halloween, and I wanted to celebrate with a nice spooky story. This week I will actually be doing my own spooky story, along with a few others thrown in. So happy Halloween, and I hope you keep listening. I'm gonna start out with my own spooky story. So when I was very young, my grandmother passed away, and this was my mother's mother. It was a very unexpected death, and my whole family took it very, very hard. She was an amazing woman who made everyone feel safe and comforted. So there was one day when I was just a baby that my mom was extra sad. I had a little telephone toy that you press the buttons and it would say, "Hi, it's the doctor. Hi, it's the fireman. Hi, it's your dad." And one night it just kept saying, "Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you." And my mom was so terrified, but so comforted, all at the same time. Another time, with the same grandmother, my mom was listening to the baby monitor while I was just a little baby laying in bed. And my mom suddenly heard me giggling and going, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, come here, come here, come here." And my mom came in and she said, "Who are you talking to?" And I supposedly said that I was talking to my grandmother. And my mom asked me to describe her, and I did to a T. Last but not least, she asked if she was smiling. Luckily she was, and she was just keeping me company when I was just a little baby. Now I'm going to move on to some other spooky stories. All of these stories were found on the r/True Scary Stories subreddit. This one was called What Was Unseen. My family has always been big on Halloween. Our homes are decorated. We walk the streets when we were kids and host costume parties now that we're older. I've got lots of good memories of the night with my 2 older brothers, mother, and friends. But there was one particular story that we still frequently relate on Halloween, via a family group chat nowadays, that was not as pleasant as the others, a downright chilling experience that has forever embedded itself in our collective reflections. October 31st, 1991. I had turned 2 in June and was already in my own bedroom, which was designated nursery beforehand. We lived in a suburb of Houston, Texas, that is today a curved row of houses. Back then was a densely forested area. There was a large window in my room that looked across the backyard and into the woods beyond. On this particular Halloween, the moon was in a waning crescent shape and projected just enough light to see by. I had a big plastic cutout jack-o'-lantern hanging by a thumbtack on my wall. Thin traces of splintered moonlight draped onto its big grinning face, an eerie setting indeed for what still is my favorite night of the year. My mom, brothers, and I were all worn out after a lengthy candy excursion that went well after our usual bedtime. My siblings had their own rooms, and my parents were watching Night of the Living Dead in the living room. I laid beneath the covers, taking in the sound of the swirling ceiling fan overhead, my eyes drifting towards my window. That's when I heard it, a faint scratching, like the pawing of a kitten on a glass door. Only we didn't have a kitten, and there certainly wasn't a glass door in my room. I stirred, fully back awake, wondering what that sound was. I listened carefully to the gentleness of the silence, the swirling of the ceiling fan, Barbara's scream from the living room television, a symphony of horns bustling to life as she chased to her car by a horde of the undead. Then it came again. A scratching sound, like fingernails on the base of the window now. When I looked towards the window, nothing there. Slithers of Halloween moonlight passing through the treetops and rushing into my bedroom. It came again, from something wholly unseen. A ghost? A murderer? This thing my brothers told me about called the boogeyman? Some other creature from the deep recesses of the forest? Scratching, scratching, trying to break in, trying to eat me, murder me, or zap me to planets unknown. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The invisible fingers of something that could only be lurking on the other side of my window. Finally, I couldn't restrain myself any longer. I screamed like a 2.5-year-old had never screamed like before. My mom came charging in my room, bursting the door open like a firefighter. I cried to her that there was something at my window and it was trying to get in. She heard the scratching sound too. Alarmed, she turned on the light to race towards the window. Nothing. No ghost, no murderer, no boogeyman, not even a lizard or moth, not even a tree limb, but still it scratched and scratched. My mom called for my dad, and by this time my brothers were rushing into my room with pop guns in their hands. My dad stepped inside, hearing the scratching sound as well. He went to the window besides my mom, but turned around when he too saw nothing outside. Yet it came again. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Finally, we saw what it was. Scraping the wall just above my bed, just above my head, was the plastic cutout of a grinning jack-o'-lantern. It moved in the wind of my ceiling fan, and the thumbtack having loosened its grip somehow. My dad took it down, and the scratching suddenly ceased. What a fright it was, though, on that Halloween night. My brothers still enjoy poking fun of me about it, although none of us are below the age of 30 anymore. This was written by Pumpkin Man 35. This next one is called Whispers from My Basement. It started a few weeks ago when I moved into my new apartment. The place was old but cheap, which is why I jumped on it. The landlord warned me about the basement, though. He said it was off limits. Just a storage area, he told me, not safe to go down there. But curiosity got the better of me. One night, I heard faint noises coming from the basement. Scratching, almost like someone was trying to get out. At first, I thought it was just the building settling, but the sound kept growing louder, like a muffled voice whispering my name. I was home alone. I grabbed a flashlight and cautiously went down the stairs. The basement was freezing, the kind of cold you feel in your bones. I scanned the room, but all I found were dusty boxes and old furniture. Then I heard it. Soft whispers, just behind me. I spun around, but no one was there. My heart raced and I ran back downstairs, slamming the door behind me. That night, the whispers became clearer, and I didn't sleep at all. Terrified at what had just happened, the next day, I asked the landlord about it. He looked at me with wide eyes and said, "You shouldn't have gone down there. That basement, it's not what you think." I haven't heard the whispers since, but I swear sometimes, late at night, I can still feel them watching me, waiting for me to go back. This story might be hard to believe, but it happened. It's your choice whether you want to believe it or not. I'm just here to share what I experienced. This is from Revolutionary Bar 4193. This next one is called Something Came Into My Home and Sat on My Bed. Then I Lost Time. Hi all. I don't post much, so apologies if this is too long. I've tried to cut it down while keeping it to the necessary info in. Context. When I was 18, I lived in a suburb of southeast Melbourne, Australia, Noble Park. Our house was the odd one out. On a street of 70s, 80s brick homes, ours was an Alpine-style weatherboard home with a steep roof built in the 20th century. It was old, cold, and noisy, and you could see the ground through the gaps of the floorboards. We had a big dog who stayed outside until everyone was home, then slept outside in a big pen/doghouse at night, mostly in the summer. We also have an indoor cat. The week it happened, I was home alone. Dad was overseas, Mom and Sis were visiting family. What happened? One night, when walking home from work, I rounded the corner and noticed a figure standing on our carport roof, looking through a window into one of the 3 upstairs bedrooms. The sun was setting, so all I could see was a dark silhouette. I yelled at it from the top of the driveway, and it was gone. I remember thinking it odd that my dog didn't bark or notice anything. I went inside, checked the house, the dog, the windows, the doors, etc., and everything seemed in place. I assumed I had just seen a shadow from a nearby tree at sunset. The following night, I walked home from work and everything seemed normal. I checked all windows and doors, let the dog inside for the evening, and eventually put him and myself to bed. My bedroom was upstairs, down the hall from the room next to the carport roof. Before bed, I had a routine of shutting all doors in the house, as they were all squeaky and the draft would often blow them closed if I left open. This night, I closed all the doors, checked the locks, turned off all the lights, and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I was awoken by something. Not sure what, but when I came to, focused my eyes, and looked around, I saw the hallway light coming in under my door. I thought I turned it off, but perhaps I forgot. Right then, my doorknob started rattling, like someone was struggling to open the door. I immediately lay back down on my side, facing the wall opposite my bed, and my heart starts beating hard. I hear the door open and close my eyes. I figure if someone is breaking in, I'll pretend I'm asleep and maybe they'll take what they want and leave. I slowly open one eye, the one against the pillow so it's less obvious. I see the light from the hallway on my wall. My bedroom door is fully open. My heart is beating harder. I lay still. I see the digital clock on my CD player, and it's a little after 2 a.m. Then I hear the door creak again and watch as the light on the wall slowly starts to disappear. The bedroom door is closing. At this point, I'm positive we're being robbed, but I continue to pretend I'm asleep. Keeping one eye open, everything is heightened. The loudest noise is my heartbeat, but I try to listen through it and I can't hear anything. No breathing, no footsteps, nothing. At this point, I begin to feel pressure around both my feet. The blanket is getting tighter, and then I realize something is now sitting at the end of my bed. I look at the clock again, and it's a little before 3 a.m. I'm frozen scared, and I have no idea what's happening. At some point, I have the idea to slowly readjust my position in bed and move my feet a little to see if something moves or happens. So I do this, and I slowly readjust my feet. I feel one of them hit something solid. Something is definitely sitting on the end of my bed. I don't know what to do at this point, so I stay still and listen, while looking through one eye at the clock on the bedroom wall. The next thing I remember is hearing the first bird starting to chirp before sunrise. I look at the clock and it's now a little before 6 a.m., and I notice the room is a little brighter and the sun is coming up. Slowly after this, I feel the pressure lift from the end of the bed. I hear the bedroom door open and the light from the hallway on the wall again, and then the door shuts and the sun starts to rise. I got up shortly after this and checked the whole house. All the doors and windows were locked. My dog had slept through the whole thing, and nothing from the house was missing. My cat was stuck in the bathroom overnight. He must have followed me in when I brushed my teeth without noticing. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sure I won't forget the night in Noble Park. And this is what by WUKEDYPUK. This last one is called Haunted Childhood Doll. Up until I was about 10 years old, I lived in a townhouse built in the 80s. I loved and still do love that house. I fondly remember the beautiful forest behind it that I used to explore, build forts, and play in with the neighbor kids. However, the house wasn't without its flaws. As a kid, I couldn't sleep in my room. I almost always slept in my parents' room, and when I had to sleep in my room, I would cry all night or stay up playing with my toys. I had sleep issues due to chronic nightmares, like sometimes having bad dreams multiple times a night. These nightmares often included my thrifted doll, Tasha. Tasha was a typical blue-eyed and blonde-hair, white doll. She was the size of an American Girl doll. According to my mom, I found her in the toy section of a thrift shop and claimed that the doll told me her name was Tasha. Obviously, this freaked my mom out, and she became ultra uncomfortable with Tasha. One night, when I was around 7, I couldn't sleep and decided to play with Tasha. Dumb idea, I know. I dressed her up in some doll clothes, until I heard something that sounded like a little girl around my age giggling. I turned around for a brief moment and caught a glimpse of a pale girl looking through my bedroom window. The girl had blonde curly hair and was wearing some kind of nightgown. I don't remember the color. I slept in my parents' room last night. This was by Mushroom Core 46. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you liked me, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you. I am trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful spooky season. Goodbye.